Sellers, what are you doing? If you were in the Atlanta area, or heck, anywhere in the US, and you were thinking about selling off market, wait and watch this video. Or maybe you're facing a foreclosure and you're just saying, hey, we're just gonna let it go into foreclosure. Stay tuned. I've got important information for you as well. For both of these groups, you are likely losing tens of thousands of dollars, if not more. Let's talk about what you can do to keep your hard-earned equity in your pockets. Let's do it. Jonathan McCoy here with Keller Williams Realty, Chattahoochee North, and I am Atlanta's Real McCoy. Today, I am talking to my homeowners out there who should be on the market as home sellers. I'm seeing two different things right now in real estate, and though they are different scenarios, the end result is the same, and that is homeowners are losing tens of thousands of dollars. This is money that you have built up in your home as equity, and it's just being taken away from you. As stated before, these two groups I am talking about are sellers that are selling off market, which I'll explain more of what that means in a moment, and those that are facing foreclosure. Let's start off with off-market sellers. Selling off-market means that you are not advertising to sell your home on the MLS, and it's not being advertised on websites such as Zillow and Trulia and Realtor.com and the like. There is no sign in your yard letting the world know that you are selling your house. This typically is happening in one of two ways. One of those ways is getting more and more trendy, and that is selling to something called an iBuyer. An iBuyer is a company that comes in and buys up large quantities of homes in an area, does very little work to that home, maybe puts some new paint or flooring in, and then tries to sell it quickly for more than they bought it for. A couple of companies doing this in the area around Atlanta are Zillow and Open Door. In very similar fashion, you also have some brokerages or some real estate agents that have investor groups that they work for that are also out buying your house for cash. You'll often hear them on the radio with advertisements that say, we'll buy your home for cash with no headaches, no open houses, and close whenever you want to. The attractiveness to these offers is that they can close on your time frame. If you want a quick close or close in 3 months, they can make that happen. Another attractive thing about this is that you don't have to leave your home for showings. So what homeowners are really doing is they're doing this for convenience purposes. The issue is home sellers are losing lots of money doing it this way. Now there are details I could go into when it comes to the fees that you have to pay to sell your home to these iBuyers. That's costing you money, but that's not the biggest loss that you're facing right now. The biggest loss is you not putting your house on the market and getting the competition that is out there right now. I've seen homes in one weekend that are put up for sale on the market getting over 70 offers for it. I've had homes listed for $350,000 for sale that end up selling for $400,000. With that same house that was listed for $350,000, they had an iBuyer that was willing to pay $340,000 for that house. That seller considered the iBuyer's offer but decided rightly to sell on the open market. If that seller would have gone with the iBuyer, they would have lost $60,000. Yes, $60,000. Don't lose that much money. Selling on the open market now is so important because you can get offers that are well above what you thought you could get. In a normal market, selling to an iBuyer probably costs the home seller about $5,000 to $10,000, and that's the convenience of a hassle-free sell, and for some people it's worth it. But in this crazy market, is the convenience of selling your house to an iBuyer really worth $60,000? The other thing I'm seeing is people selling off-market with an agent that finds a buyer for them. Now the off-market buyer may pay more than the iBuyer, but are you getting as much as you could from having your home on the market for competition? Likely the answer is no. I had one buyer almost sell off market, and thankfully they didn't. The potential buyer couldn't come up to the amount that the seller was willing to sell the house for, so they decided to list it on the MLS and on the market. That seller put the house on the market, and within 5 days, we were under contract and ended up selling for $40,000 more than they would have made if they would have sold off market. These are real deals that happen that ended up making the sellers much more money than they would have made otherwise. And I hear and see these kinds of things happening all around me. While there may be a few, and I mean very few scenarios, where selling off market makes sense, if you choose to go this route, you more than likely are losing way more money than you realize. Now, onto my home sellers that are facing foreclosure. There's no way around it. Foreclosure sucks. Some people feel embarrassed by it and just don't know what to do. Right now, a majority of people should not go through foreclosure. If you are missing payments for your mortgage and you're about to be foreclosed on, or you got notice of foreclosure, you have options. One of those options is to sell your home now. Almost everyone now has equity in their house. Don't lose that equity. The foreclosure moratorium for the country has ended, and in the county I'm in right now, Gwinnett County alone, there are over 11,000 foreclosures being sold. That number breaks my heart. I decided to go through the list of foreclosures that they publish publicly and click through a couple of the foreclosures that are being sold. Now, I picked these two at random to see what the loan amount of the loan being foreclosed on was for, and the amount of the house, what it's worth based on Realtor.com's valuation. Here is the first one I looked at. The amount of the original loan owed was $31,400. And I found the second mortgage for the house. Now, these were both back in 2004, so more than likely it is a good bit less that they owe, but let's just say it is still the same total, which would be $157,000 owed on this house. Then we take a look at the estimated valuation on Realtor.com, and on Realtor.com we are seeing an estimate of $253,100 for this house. Instead of foreclosing, the seller could just sell it on the open market. If sold, and if these amounts were accurate, the seller has $96,100 in equity. The next foreclosure I looked at had a mortgage of $383,900 back in 2007. I couldn't find any other mortgages recorded on the tax records, and when I looked at Realtor.com, estimates of its value were $606,700. Again, I'm sure that the owner is paid a good bit off, but let's just keep these numbers and say they're true. The seller is looking at $222,800 in equity if they sold on the open market. Now, these are numbers you would get if you sold, but if you go through foreclosure, what happens to your equity? Well, first, know that the lender is most importantly trying to get their money back. And when a foreclosure is sold at the courthouse steps at auction, investors are buying those houses and are not trying to pay full price, but they want a deal. When your home is sold at foreclosure, all loans and liens on the house are paid off first. Once everyone is paid off, then the former owner can get any equity left over. In this scenario, though, the home is going to sell for a lot less than it would if it were listed for sale in the open market. For the first foreclosure we looked at, instead of selling for $253,100, this home will likely sell for something like, $175,000. After paying off the two mortgages on the home, which totaled, if you remember, $157,000, the amount left over is $18,000. So the amount paid to the former owner is $18,000. If the owner would have sold on the open market before foreclosure, they could have made $96,100, but instead are only gaining $18,000. That is a total of $78,100 that the owner is missing out on because they went through the foreclosure process and didn't sell in the open market. What is the big lesson here? When you sell the traditional route, you will most likely make more money, and oftentimes significantly more money, than you would by selling it off market. Don't lose your hard-earned equity for the convenience of not having to show your home right away. Don't lose your hard-earned equity because, it's embarrassing because you may be going through a foreclosure. Right now, we are getting homes sold on the market in 4 to 5 days. Heck, we could sell in 1 day, but our goal is to get multiple offers. My sellers are inconvenienced for basically 4 days. We list on a Thursday and have showings up until Sunday around 3 o'clock. We then look over all the offers and make a choice. Take advantage of this current market if you are looking to sell. And if you are facing foreclosure, it is a difficult situation, but go ahead and take the steps to see what selling would look like for you. That way you avoid being in foreclosure and you can keep much more equity in your home. I hope this video was helpful for my homeowners out there. If you have any questions about iBuyers, selling off market, foreclosures, or anything that has to do with real estate, contact me. I would love to help you answer your questions and help you out with your real estate needs. If you found this video helpful, hit that subscription button and click on the thumbs up icon. I post videos just like this one on Thursdays about all things real estate, as well as living, working, playing, and breathing all things Atlanta and the metro Atlanta area. Thanks, and I will see you next time.